Here.
Adam Webb.
Here.
Mark Ham.
Here.
Glenn Lewis.
Here. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 2 is the consent docket. Item A is receive and approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting held February 6, 2023. Item B is receive the minutes of the regular Parks Board meeting held January 9, 2023. Item C is accept a 200 square foot permanent roadway easement and 1,695 square feet of temporary construction easement for parcels 2 and 2.1 from the Brooklyn Company LLC and Oklahoma Limited Liability Company for construction and maintenance of the Eastern Avenue widening and construction project. Item D is accept 200 square feet of permanent roadway easement and 1,201 square feet of temporary construction easement for parcels 3, 3A, and 3B from the Brooklyn Company LLC and for construction and maintenance of the Eastern Avenue widening and reconstruction project phase 1. Item E is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2022-2023 in the amount of $3,085,857.11.
Make a motion to approve the consent docket.
Thank you. We have a
Second.
motion and a second on the consent docket. Would you call for the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie. Yes. Jason Blair.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
yes,
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 3 is consider adoption of resolution number 47-23, authorizing the calling and holding of an election in the city of Moore, Oklahoma for the purpose of submitting to the registered qualified voters of said city the question of establishing an initial rate for the required biweekly residential curbside recycling for $3.90 per month with a 2% increase each year for years 2 through 5 and providing for an effective date and containing other provisions relating thereto.
Mayor and Council, this is the recycling proposal. Based on the input at last week, or the last council meeting, we've changed the ballot language to reflect the $3.90 that the city would charge the residents monthly for this, and a 2% increase on years 2 through 5. As you know, Republic's plan is to increase 4% years 2 through 5. We would pass on half of that, which would be 8 cents per month in each year. In the contract, Republic does reserve the right for a fuel surcharge or other things depending on if enough unrecyclable items are put in the bins. I did reach out to Republic, and they said even though they reserve the right to do that, they have yet to do that with any of their other cities. And I don't really believe that that would amount to a significant amount of money if that were to happen. And again, the city would take care of that cost and not the residents. All the yes vote tonight does is put it on the ballot in front for the voters on May the 9th. It's not an endorsement of it. It's not a negative of it. But we've had significant discussion on this. I recommend approval.
All right, thank you. We have a couple of people signed up. Barry Williams.
Barry Williams, 1061 Northwest 6th Street. We're again talking about this subject that's already been voted down twice by the people. I would like to know how much we're spending on this vote that's already been voted down twice. How much money are we spending for this vote?
A typical election like this costs about $10,000.
Now, we went from $4.30 to $3.90. What is Republic actually charging us? Are they charging us $4.30 and we, the taxpayers, are subsidizing the other 40 cents, or are they charging $3.90?
They are charging us $4.30, and if passed, we will make modifications to our own recycle center, and the savings we'll have on that is what is allowing us to pass on the 30 or the 40-cent discount to our residents.
Okay, and so we're really getting charged 4%, and we're still paying, and you're saying 2%, but the city of Moore is still paying 4%, correct?
The city of Moore is still paying 4%. There was concern at the last council meeting that at some point we would pass on those costs, but it's not defined in the ballot. So we went ahead and defined it as we would pass on half those costs. The 4% is 17 cents. The 2% is just 8 cents.
I understand that, but as a citizen of Moore, this is still my money and your money, so we're still spending the same amount of money. It's just you're not passing that on, you're sending it to, you're getting the money somewhere else that we could be using for something else. So we're actually,
But your tax dollars are also paying for the recycle center now, which it won't be.
I know, but the 4% to 2% is what I'm talking about. We're actually paying 4%.
Right,
It's
8 cents
just-
of your tax dollars will be going to, yeah.
So, yeah, our
Eight-
tax dollars. I mean,
8
it's my
cents, yeah.
tax dollars, it's your tax
Right.
dollars.
And we also expect that if time were to go on and we were to keep the recycle center going as it was, I mean, those costs would increase every year. So essentially, we're from the year one ability to keep the cost reduced by 40 cents. I'm considering it a wash in years 2 through 5.
Yeah, because that's something we haven't talked a whole lot about. If, at some point, there has to be significant changes made to the recycling center, whether we open another recycling center, whether we increase the size, because it's well over capacity right now. I mean, if you
Oh,
go
I-
at any
I
given
agree
time,
with you.
so.
And you did touch on the subject that they have not yet passed on fuel surcharge, sorting charge, whatever charge to any of the cities that they've done this for yet, but they can. And that's not outlined in this deal, is there could be another charge on this recycling program that the constituents is not going to know about until it happens. And it could very well happen in the next 2 or 3 years with everything that's going on with inflation and rising fuel costs. So do we want to tell them in this ballot that it's going to be $3.90 plus the 2% plus whatever they think that they should charge, or we're just going to leave that?
No, because it's $3.90 plus the 2%, and then if Republic has an issue with the fuel surcharge or the recycle loads, then that's something that they would charge the city. And this program lasts 5 years. So at the end of 5 years, if we decide, this wasn't the right move, we get to reevaluate it then.
Okay. Well, that's all I wanted to find out is what that was going to be. I'm still against it. I'm still against me having to subsidize somebody else's stuff. I do recycle. I know how to recycle. I even recycle inside my home. I use milk jugs for planting containers. That is a recycling. But I don't feel it's right for anybody here to charge me something for somebody else's stuff. And I guess we'll find out during the election.
That's right, absolutely, yep.
Thank you. Patrice Williams.
Patrice Williams, 1061 Northwest Sixth Street. Yeah, my husband. I'm a longtime resident of Moore. I graduated here, my dad graduated here, my kids graduated here, I graduated with one of you. I am tired of hearing, do what?
I'm guessing it's me. No.
But I'm tired of our city saying, well, this other city's doing it, well, this other city's doing it, so we need to do it. Well, if people want to move into our city, they can do what our city does, not come in and try to change our city because the city they moved from did it. If we want to compare apples and oranges with Edmond and Yukon and everybody, they have a lot more festivals, parades, a lot more stuff going on in the community for the citizens also. So if we're going to do that, we need to do it all the way and not just with the recycling. It's very disheartening to me that the city is wanting to spend money without even getting bids from other companies. I don't think it's a good steward of our money at all. We need to understand exactly what we're getting into, not, well, maybe it can go up, maybe it won't. We hadn't done it in a while, or never done it, but they could do it tomorrow. That's not a good steward of money. If I run my household like that, we'd be in trouble. I am not for paying for somebody else's convenience of recycling. There's a lot of things that would be convenient for me, but I don't expect y'all to pay for it. I don't expect anybody to pay for it. If I want the convenience, I pay for it. But that's all I have to say. But I am no on this, and I will vote no. And
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much
That's all that's signed up on this item.
on this one.
Just have a couple of quick words. I took the time to go visit the recycling center where it will all be taken. The recyclables would be taken, and toured that and had a video conference call, I think they call, with Republic earlier, I think it was last week, and talked about curbside recycling. They were focusing on Midwest City, got a lot of good information. And I understand and hear what y'all are saying and some of the others. And I've had opportunity to talk with some of the council, and, you know, I just can appreciate the $10,000, and yeah, we'd like to spend on something better, but I would have been upset if we would have just passed this without letting the people in our community at least have a voice in it. And I would, I'm not necessarily in favor of this, but I want the people in our community to at least have a voice, everyone to have a voice through a vote, which is what we're gonna do. And I know we've had one, when was the last one, 2016?
Yes.
And so, you know, a little bit of time has passed, and so I get it. There are things that I would love to just do, but I don't always win on those things, and I just have to learn to work together with everybody, and we move on. And so, you know, I'm ready for this to go. We kind of worked through it and talked about it, and let's just put it out there to vote and see what the people decide, and we'll just kind of go from there.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else on council?
No, and we did look at Mustang's program, and the reason that they have the discounted rate is because they use that same company that picks up their trash. Mustang does not pick up their own trash, the city doesn't, and so it was a different rates
That was
thing for us. Yeah, I
an
didn't,
add-on.
right.
They contract with that company to pick up the residential. So we did look into it, but it wasn't something that would be available for
For
our
us,
city.
right.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion from council? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Abstain.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Lynn Lewis.
Yes. Item carries. Item number 4 is consider adoption of ordinance number 101823 of the City of Moore, Oklahoma, amending section 17-209 of chapter 2 of part 17 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Moore, Oklahoma by adding required biweekly residential curbside recycling and establishing a rate thereto, providing effective date for said increase, subject to voter approval, and containing other provisions related thereto.
This is the companion item to number 3. Recommend approval.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We got 2 people signed up to speak on it. Mrs. Williams?
I've said my piece.
Okay.
And before we vote on it, too, I mean, by us doing this, the city council is neither endorsing or speaking out against. This is all for the citizens to decide. So the city's not going to be out there with a campaign or anything. So if you're against it or you're for it and you want to help your citizens do it, it's up to the community to do that. The city, this is just us putting it out for a vote.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Did you say I could talk again?
Sorry, I said by us,
I thought he said.
oh, sorry.
Yes, I did.
Oh, yeah.
On this one, it says residents curbside, never mind, I figured that out. But I'm gonna go back to, we didn't get any bids from anywhere but Republic. You talked to Mustang and saw what they had, but we didn't get any other bids from recycling companies. And I'm not gonna go spend more money at a place because I like them. You know, that's not what we need to do. We have a good working relationship with Republic, but we need to get bids. We're supposed to get bids. As a government, we are supposed to get bids. It is not anywhere in the MORE that says we don't have to get bids because we already have a contract with Republic for something else. I also think that if we're gonna do this, let's do it all the way. Apartment complexes. Each tenant has to pay their fair share too. They live in MORE. Let's do it. Everybody pays, not just owners or renters of a house. Everybody.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Abstain.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie. Jason Blair,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 5, ordinance number 102023, amending Part 8, Chapter 12, Sections 8-1201 and Sections 8-1205 of the Moore City Code by adding definitions of hazardous and non-hazardous medical marijuana processors, assigning the allowable zoning districts for non-hazardous medical marijuana processors, and establishing conditions of the operation for non-hazardous medical marijuana processors, providing for severability and providing for a repealer.
Mayor and council, we were recently notified that OMMA has added a new category for licensing called a non-hazardous processor's license. This is in addition to the just the processor's license. They now have the two categories, non-hazardous and hazardous. We tried to keep our code in line with the OMMA rules. Just makes it easier for us to administer and make sure that we're doing everything that the OMMA needs us to be doing. So to align our city code with these rules, our ordinance needs to be updated to include the non-hazardous processing. So to do this, we added a definition of the non-hazardous processor, and that is the same as the OMMA defines it. That's located on page 107 of your agenda packet. We also, in section 8-1205, we have, that's describing the commercial medical marijuana processing facilities. We've broken that into the two categories. The hazardous would be the exact same as it was before. There is no change to that. The non-hazardous would be allowed by right in A1, A2, and I1 through I3. And also, it would be allowed in C2 through C6, all of our commercial zoning districts, with the following stipulations. The commercial zoning districts have the stipulations. The first stipulation is that it cannot be more than 25% of the gross leasable area of the business. So this would limit the amount for processing to ensure that the commercial nature of the business is what the business is about. The non-hazardous processing should be limited to rolling cigarettes, baking and cooking, and packaging only. Any other type of processing would have to take place in different zoning categories. All building codes shall apply. A commercial kitchen would be required if doing the cooking or the baking. and proper ventilation so that the odors don't escape past their leasable space. We did meet virtually with Ms. Felina Rivera to discuss these changes. Ms. Rivera represents many of the dispensaries, and she was able to explain to both myself and Brian Miller why the industry needs this change. And basically, with all the competition out there, they have to make their product, sell more product in order to, make the numbers work. And so processing is part of this. And she explained that the most common forms are the cigarette rolling, the packaging. They just need to get their boutique brand out to the public. So we feel that with this code update, it does give protections to our commercial areas where they won't become industrial sites, while also meeting the goals of the medical marijuana industry. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
All right, thank you. We have a
Second.
person signed up, Felina Rivera. Would you like to speak?
Hello, I'm Felina Rivera. I am the attorney that has spoken previously, and I just wanted to reaffirm everything that she just said and make myself available for questions as well. I represent several cannabis dispensaries and businesses throughout the state, but in particular a few here in the city of Moore. And as she mentioned, this change would just allow for the law here in Moore to be in line with the state, with what the OMMA and the legislature approved in late 2021, allowing for non-hazardous facility or activities to take place. And this would simply allow for some of the business owners in the city to expand. Currently, the law does not allow for the wholesale of products that are your own brand, and if you have only a dispensary license. And so largely the non-hazardous processing license would simply allow for business owners to wholesale their brand that they have developed to other retail businesses. It should create more opportunities for jobs and expansion within the city as well. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you.
So I have a question not directly related to this, but how do we, so I understand this is something I don't understand that's changing very quickly. How do we monitor the changes that OMMA makes to the state law and to make sure that we're following that with the city? Because when I heard 2021, I was hoping she was going to say 2022. So all of a sudden I hear we're 14 months behind at least.
Right, yeah, so Ms. Rivera reached out to us to let us know that our rules and regulations were not in compliance with, not that we have to be in compliance, but it doesn't match the OMMA. And, we would encourage those kind of conversations with us. We don't get notified necessarily of any sort of rule changes with OMMA, so it'd really be, up to city staff to continually check the website and the rules, and
Of course.
unfortunately that we just don't have it.
Of course, and I don't expect us to. I was just curious how
Sure,
that
and I will say that the proposed legislation is always updated on the OMMA's website. I also put out copies, and I'm happy to include the city in my news release that keeps up with that information if you'd like.
That would be helpful. We don't have the manpower to check
I understand.
that.
I'm
I mean,
happy
to
to
check
share
with
that
every
information.
industry, but especially one that's changing so quickly.
This is pretty common for government, because even in building codes,
Yep.
we have someone on staff that does nothing but scour the US for who has updated what building codes, adopted which building codes, have done their own state building codes, and so this is just pretty normal for government.
That makes
so,
sense. I was just curious. Thank you for that.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yeah, second.
Okay, we have a second. Would you call for the vote if there's no other discussion from council?
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes. Item carries. Item number 6 is consider adoption of Resolution 1922, removing certain fees for no longer being charged, reducing the medical marijuana dispensary renewal fee, and adding a fee for non-hazardous processor license, cleaning up the fees table for Central Park, the Aquatic Center, and updating the fees associated with planning, zoning, and development, updating and cleaning up the fees throughout, effective upon approval and remaining in effect until modified, amended, or repealed, and repealing prior inconsistent fees.
Mayor and council, this is a much-needed update to our fee schedule. What we've done is we've gone through the entire fee schedule. We have added the new non-hazardous processor license that was just approved. We added that fee of $400. Last year, there was discussion about reducing the renewal for the dispensary licenses. That is also reflected in this one. It was $600. We have put it down to $400, which is more in line to what other cities are doing in the neighboring cities. We also did some cleanup language. When I was going through this, I actually came across a fee that we charge for the development of film, and whenever somebody asks for a photograph. So I've removed that. I was also told that we no longer provide a DVD video copy, so that's been removed as well. So I just did some cleanup throughout this, this fee schedule. So any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
That's a significant list, dear God.
Thank you.
Make a
Make-
motion, we approve.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion from council? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes. Item carries. Item number 7 is consider approval of change order number 7 with Crosland Construction Company in the amount of $9,067 for additional services for Phase 1 of the Public Works Facility project. Excuse me.
Mayor and council, this basically closes out the work with Phase 1 of the Public Works facility. This change order included a couple of minor items that, one, the fire marshal requested us to relocate a couple of emergency light locations so that if we lose power, that, you know, they're battery operated to make it a much more safe to get around should we lose power. Also, it included the utility bills. We took over the building, building and maintenance moved in early November, and so we failed to change the names of the utility companies over to the city, and so we are reimbursing them for November and December utility bill. And then the last item that's just like we have at the station. We are had them put together, have a plaque built with the names of the council members, the mayor, and staff members, and so forth. And this includes that, and that'll be placed in the Public Works facility. So, with that, we'd recommend approval of the change order.
Okay,
Motion to approve?
Second.
thank you. Thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion from council? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes. Item carries. Item number 8 is consider approval of a revision in the dollar amount previously approved by the City Council on February the 6th, 2023 for the budgeted purchase of a chassis cab for a bucket truck from Bill Knight Ford using state contract SW035 from $45,699 to $54,584 due to the quote being for a gasoline engine instead of a diesel engine.
Mayor and Council, good evening. As it turned out, the dealership made a mistake in quoting a gasoline engine truck for us, but that is not what we wanted. We wanted a diesel truck, so the price difference is because the truck available is a diesel, not gasoline, so.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion from council? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Jason Blair?
Yes.
Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Adam Webb?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes.
Glenn Lewis?
Yes, item carries. Item number 9 is consider approval of modifications to the Personnel Policy and Procedures Manual by amending Article 2, Employee Activities, by prohibiting smoking in city vehicles, Article 3, Recruitment and Selection, by adding cleanup language and removal of unnecessary sections, Article 5, Leave of Absence, by establishing rules and procedures for donation of sick leave and the use of donated sick leave, and by adding cleanup language and removal of unnecessary language and sections in Article 6, performance evaluations and performance increases, by adding cleanup language and removal of unnecessary sections.
Mayor and Council, this is a much-needed update to our policy procedures manual. I've been working with Christine Jolly in our HR department, and we kind of worked together on some of the cleanup language throughout. There are two, I would say, substantive changes to this policy procedures manual. The first one is in regards to the city vehicles. We are going to prohibit smoking and vaping and the use of tobacco products inside city vehicles. And two, there needed to be some clarification language, some rules and some guidance in regards to the donating of sick leave, the acceptance of donated sick leave, and the use of that donated sick leave. There were some questions that had arisen, and it was kind of hard to answer those questions without some clarifying language. So that has been addressed, as well as cleanup language throughout. Some of the cleanup language is that we've removed the personnel department is now the human resources department, things like that. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer, or Christine is also here. She can also answer any questions.
Motion to approve.
All right, thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion from council? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Jason Blair?
Yes.
Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Adam Webb?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes.
Glenn Lewis?
Yes, item carries. Item number 10 is consider approval of a contract with UV&S for storage of approximately 1,000 human resources and community development files with initial cost of $6,755 for transport, inventory, and warehousing, and an annual storage fee of $6,090.
Mayor and Council, the Human Resources Department and the Community Development Department are requesting your approval of a contract with Underground Vaults and Storage, UV&S, for services related to the transport, inventory, and warehousing of files. Personnel files are generally required to be retained by the employer for 7 years following the end of employment, with some documents relating to employment having a retention requirement of a longer or a shorter period. Those files are inherently confidential in nature, and our current storage area is less than ideal in terms of security, temperature, humidity, and pests and rodents. Community development has additional requirements for the retention of documents that are in some instances never to be destroyed. In both cases, there is a need to occasionally access a file or a document, which is currently difficult due to a lack of inventory management and ease of access to and then within our storage area. I've been in discussions with UV&S since last summer, and their representative has visited our storage situation here and more. After an evaluation of our needs, they provided a quote to transport, inventory, and warehouse the approximately 1,000 files that we have. The inventory service will allow human resources to find a personnel file by name in a very short period of time when required by a former employee, an open records request, or any other legitimate request. It will also allow community development to find their documents in a timely manner when needed. The off-site storage of these files will be in a secure, climate-controlled environment and free of the threat of pests and rodents. The initial cost for the transport, inventory, and warehousing of the approximately 1,000 files is quoted at $6,755, and there will be an annual storage fee after that of $6,090. This was the best quote that we received. Staff recommends approval I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have, and Elizabeth is here as well from Community Development.
Did we investigate digitizing these records?
I have investigated digitizing these records. It would cost us a small fortune to actually digitize them, and we don't need them that often. One time, and then every time we lost somebody, we would, or every time somebody quit, we'd have to do another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem with digitizing is determining which document actually needs to be digitized. We do have things in our files that don't need to be digitized.
Well, you know, Louis, that's a good point. It may be something that the city starts looking at doing from some point forward versus keeping all of these paper copies. We would automatically store it digitally somewhere.
I would love to, in the long run, be able to do that.
Yeah, and we attacked it progressively. We did what you started saying, is we started at point zero and started digitizing everything new, and then we took it in chunks and digitized backwards. We had 60 years worth of data that we had to digitize, but we paid for that incrementally as we went along. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I would make a motion that we approve this.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion from council? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries.
Excuse
Item-
me, Mayor, I apologize, but we did have someone signed up to speak on item number 4. Would it be possible for them to come up
Well,
and
sure,
speak?
but I don't have them down as 4.
6, sorry, 6.
I have an item for 6, but I saved it for new business.
You did save it for new
Because
business,
it's,
okay.
yeah, it doesn't, item 6 and what they wrote here doesn't match,
Okay. We'll do new business.
does it?
Sorry for the interruption.
Oh, you're
No,
fine.
you're good.
Did you want to
Is
speak?
it okay to?
Want to speak
Yeah,
now, or?
Yeah. No, yeah, I think I see what you're saying, because it's,
Yeah, this was,
right, yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
it would be new
New
business.
business?
Yep, yep,
Okay, perfect.
Yep, yep.
I just
Thank
hadn't
you.
got to
Yep,
you. I'm
yep.
sorry, I should have said something a while ago. Sorry about that. Okay, at this time, we'll recess the city council.
11.
Oh, 11, sorry about that. Greg, let's see, consider authorizing staff to negotiate a contract with MSR Design Gardner Studio for architectural design services for a new public library.
Mayor and council, we had a committee of 8, including 2 of our council members, Councilman Blair, Councilman Webb, that reviewed 6 RFPs for a new library, and then we did interviews with 2 finalists, and the committee decided that MSR and Gardner Studio was the best firm for us to move forward with, and so we're requesting the ability now to try and negotiate a contract with them. Recommend approval.
Okay, thank you.
So where's the financing coming from for this?
We have $200,000 put away for the design, and then there'll be another request with this year's budget, so.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Yes, second.
Oh, I'm sorry, didn't hear you.
That's all right.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions from council? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. At this time, we'll recess the city council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. Item 12 is the consent docket. Item A is receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Public Works Authority meeting held February 6, 2023. Item B, approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2022 and 2023 in the amount of $1,506,276.80.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, thank you. It's a consent docket. Would you call for the vote, please?
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 13 is consider adoption of resolution number 26223, reducing the annual percentage increase in commercial and residential sewer rates and clarifying the non-residential sewer impact fee effective upon approval and remaining in effect until modified, amended, or repealed, and repealing prior inconsistent fees.
Mayor and council, this is some more cleanup language throughout the fee schedule. It includes the water rate. I'm going to call it a decrease to the increase of the rates. It went from 7% to 5%. That's been added to this. We have also added some cleanup language. There was a fee that I found that was added twice. There was a $50 fee that was included in two different categories. So I've removed $50. If you notice that there was the water service through a 5/8 inch meter is $50 less. It's because it was actually included in a category up above. Just some cleanup language throughout. If there are any other questions, I'll be happy to answer these.
And just so the mayor and council knows, the percentage increase on the water and sewer is tied to our contract with Oklahoma City.
Yes.
Right.
Motion to approve.
Okay, thank you.
Second?
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion from council? If not, would you call for the vote?
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 14 is consider adoption of resolution number 26323, amending the schedule of fees and charges effective upon approval and remaining in effect until modified, amended, or repealed, and repealing prior inconsistent fees, excuse me.
Mayor and council, this is simply adopting the new fee schedule. We've approved all the fee changes. This is now adopting a new fee schedule.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions from council? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes. Item carries. At this time, we'll recess the Moore Public Works Authority meeting and convene the Moore Risk Management meeting. Item number 15 is the consent docket. Item A is receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Risk Management meeting held February 6, 2023. Item B is approve payment of a workers' compensation settlement in the amount of $8,085 for CBR number 20500130039 and authorize placement on the ad valorem tax rolls. Item C is approve payment of a workers' compensation settlement in the amount of $20,000 for CBR number 205000979 and authorize placement on the ad valorem taxes. And item D is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2022-23 in the amount of $257,411.44.
Make a motion to approve the consent docket?
Second.
Thank you both. We have a motion and a second on the consent docket. Would you call for the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. At this time, we'll recess the Moore Risk Management meeting and convene the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting.
Would you call the roll, please?
Danielle McKenzie.
Here.
Jason Blair.
Here.
Melissa Hunt.
Here.
Glenn Lewis.
Here.
Adam Webb.
Here.
Mark Ham.
Here?
Louis Williams.
Here. Item 17 is the consent docket. Item A, receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Economic Development Authority meeting held January 17th, 2023.
Make a motion to approve?
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. It's a consent docket. Would you call for the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt. Glenn Lewis.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes. This time we'll recess the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting and reconvene the city council meeting.
All right, thank you. Let the record reflect that all the members are still present. And item 18 is new business, citizens forum for items not on the agenda. And Joshua, you want to speak now?
Sure, that works.
Okay.
Well, good evening. I hope y'all are doing well. Yeah, I know I'm a loud, lively person. So, my name is Joshua Dottridge, and I'm a resident within the city of Moore. In addition to being a resident in the community, I'm also a student pastor on the south side of Oklahoma City at South Point Church, and also the founder and director of United OKC. And today I'm just seeking for just a reevaluation in the cost of renting city facilities to either be drastically discounted or for no payment to be required for 501c3 organizations. Just to give you a little bit more context in regards to just United OKC for my specific organization that's under the covering of South Point Church. That was birthed out of just a burden to see unity across all churches, regardless of denomination, come together and operate as one body to reach students of Oklahoma City and beyond, with a specific focus of reaching students grades 6 through 12. The hope is for students to become even more unified to make a difference in their families, schools, and community. From this vision that began in 2020, we've seen over 30-plus churches within our community join together to play a part in making a unified impact that is bigger than just one organization, bigger than one organization can do alone. And our most recent gathering took place back on September 28th, 2022, where we saw over 700 teenagers gather together at the Central Park Amphitheater in Moore, with over 25 churches represented. We saw students from all over Moore Public School District come out and experience genuine community in a time where their faith was built. And this event was made possible by other churches who are also 501c organizations partnering together to help pay for things such as hot dogs, inflatables, sound equipment, and so much more. And we're preparing for another impactful United OKC one-night event on March 29th with the same goal at hand. That goal being that students would be encouraged, they would build community, and they would leave empowered to make a positive impact within their family, schools, and community. And as we draw near to this event, I would like to ask for a partnership to take place between nonprofit organizations as a whole and the city. So currently, to rent the amphitheater for 4 hours, the total amount comes out to $1,475. And again, these type of events that we host at the amphitheater, we do not charge. This is something that we do as an investment into our community. This price includes the existing 5% discount that nonprofits receive currently. Although we are grateful for the 5% discount, I would like for this pricing to be reevaluated for what is currently being charged to nonprofit organizations in hopes of seeing a more significant discount or even an agreement for no payment to be made for these type of investment events within our community. And this is not to escape the cost of cleaning fees or security that need to take place. We'll take that on. And just the hope for me presenting and for requesting this partnership with the city is so that myself and other nonprofit organizations can be even more advantageous in how we steward the finances that bring about the positive, unified impact that both nonprofit and the city desires. And with that being said, if y'all are free, March 29th, we will be there. But for you guys to come see for yourselves the fruit that comes about within a community from strategic partnership between nonprofits and the city of Moore. And so, yeah, cool.
I was at the event in September, and it really is, it's a neat event. Just out of curiosity, why I didn't see anybody enter the facility, so the $1,475 was just to use the amphitheater?
Yeah. So $1,475 is just including the amphitheater. It does not even include the little kind of pavilion that has the outlet. So it's sectioned off where if you want to use certain parts of the facility, like it's just broke up into, there's an additional cost for that.
So and I'm not speaking on behalf of, but if we did something like that, I mean, could we be considered truly a partner or sponsor, something like that? If we said, hey, we're going to partner with you on this event, and, it's a city of Moore and blah, blah, blahs.
Yeah, well, that would play a huge part in our marketing, and your investment comes from...
And I'm not looking at our city manager because I haven't checked out that, but I was,
Well, and that plays a part into like the city. So we would like recognize you
Mm-hmm.
guys, even give you a part to play, because as we continue to grow with 30 plus churches that represent, thousands of students that are within our community, I think that plays a part in strategic partnership in terms of even like shouting you guys out for making this night possible as one of the sponsors, not necessarily that you are funding, but it's not you're not charging
Right.
the renting fee
Right.
for us, that we can be more advantageous with our finances to help steward some more, to help really steward growth. Because 700 out there is a lot, and we're prepping for more than 1,000 with just other partnerships that we've had within the city. And so that's something.
Okay.
And
that
it's
helps answer
really
your
neat. They,
questions.
food trucks come out and they have different things under the pavilion, but so what is the charge for? I understand cleanup and trash, but
Security. So I'd have to look at the fee schedule. to
yeah,
get all the
let's
particulars.
look at that.
Well, and we need to understand too what impact for other 503Cs that this could
Right.
Right.
be a snowball effect.
Yeah.
We just
Right,
gotta.
right, right.
No, I just want to look at the
Well, and
fees.
it's also the fee also, I mean, there's upkeep and things as you use that, and so that fee goes into
I
that. So
just-
I understand the
I
fee.
understand a discount,
For-
but I do have the concern that
Yep.
if it's free, then they're.
No, I
paying
don't-
503 Cs, but
Well,
do
and I think there's
understand-
definitely should be a charge, and I think there's a separation between one-time events and then continuing, like ongoing events for, let's say, if you have a church plant that's coming in, you're obviously not, if they're renting a city facility to host that, obviously not going to be a free thing because they're using it on a weekly basis. So I think that if there is a separation and a distinguish between what's a one-time event that, and obviously between 501c3s, I think there's strategic language that makes sure is, with the city's permissions, it's in alignment with the city's goals as well.
Well, going back to that event, I don't see where the 1475 charge comes into play. They utilize the field area. So yeah, if we can look into that fee,
Sure.
Not just specific to this, just
Yeah.
Right, no, I'd
if
be
we
glad
can
to.
look into
Yeah.
fees and just make sure they're,
I do want us to be cautious proceeding forward with this. I think what you're doing is commendable, but
Right.
it could be problematic to
Because of
pursue
it,
what he's
yeah.
asking. Just because we're gonna have a lot of wear and tear on this property and security expenses as well. And we don't know, do other cities offer, this is a public space paid for by all, 60,000 plus citizens.
Right.
Or is Oklahoma City just letting every 501c use their
well,
parks,
but
things like
then
that?
on the flip side of that,
You know,
how many
that-
times do we see people using the amphitheater? And my fear and concern is they don't because of the fee.
Yeah, that's
So
a-
all
that's a
I'm
high
saying
fee.
is let's look into it.
Yeah, and I would say it's, again, it's not the escape of paying, it's just $1,400 to cover for something that's not, like, we're nonprofits in United OKC, like I started that's just, my pastor's giving me leeway to help unify. And I think you're probably not going to see that a lot because Oklahoma is very denominationally divided in different things. So what you see here is actually unique and has the chance to take a role into influencing other communities, which I'm working with different communities, and as far as like people in Mississippi that are seeing what we're doing and things like that. But in agreement to what you are saying, that is very underused for the amphitheater that is in existence because it's such a beautiful property for that. And so I think as it opens up, I think that's a good problem to have. And if you have more 501c3s and you establish that baseline of pay, I think you do cover your expenses because you have more people that are itching to play a part in hosting things there, which is great for the development of the community. But I think it also plays a part into you're going to kind of come out on top in terms of just like, all right, if everybody's paying this certain fee and there's somebody's there at least once a month, I think it does pay dividends, although I'm not know the upkeep of everything.
Sure.
But I think that does play a part because I think you want.
And I
people to
agree.
use it.
I'm not saying it should be free, but perhaps there could be more of a discount. 5% doesn't seem like very much, and so I think
Yeah.
we could look into maybe more of a discount.
Did we remove the discount?
Reduce the fee.
I think we voted to remove that.
So we had 2020 there was something.
Oh,
that
no,
was a
did we?
discount.
Seriously?
2020, there
That's
was
why
a
he
different
wanted to speak on
discount.
that issue.
Or, excuse me, 2021 was a different discount when we started it back in March. There was a little bit more leadway in that going into when we rented it again in the beginning of 2022. The price was.
Let our city
Yeah,
attorney
go ahead.
speak real quick.
We did not remove the, any type of a discounts. What we did do, though, is that there were so many discounts that we removed all the discounts from the table. And then I added a category that stated, senior military group as well as other discounts may be applicable. That way it would allow, if we wanted to change it to 15%, 20, we wouldn't have to come in here and change the
All
fee
the time.
schedule
Okay.
because we had the schedule listed out with the 20% discount.
Okay.
So there are still discounts that may be applicable. I just removed all of them because there got to be so many of them. It was confusing to even know.
Is the fee dependent upon how many people attend, or is it, if they had an event with only 50 people and use the amphitheater, is it still 1,400? Because 700 kids is a lot, and 30 organizations, 1,400 should not be too
What
much of a burden. But is it based off of just
Per hour.
per hour, no matter how many people are there?
That's what's on the
Okay.
fee schedule.
But it's a free event.
Because that event sounds pricey, but again, I can see if there were only maybe 100 people, that's too steep.
But it's a free event,
So-
correct?
And,
Yeah.
and I think this is, and also the thing is, it's not that organizations have this allocated. This is just supporting a bigger vision. So really, with different churches, you don't see a different church's name. You know United OKC, you don't even hear South Point Church throughout it. So this is a separate thing that other churches are investing in outside of just their own organization to make a positive impact, like within the community, and do something, bigger and better than one can do standing alone. For that. In regards to the discounts, you stated, so all the discounts, from what I've been told from the station and specifically Lisa, who's oversight of all rental kind of negotiations and stuff, was told to come to you guys for some updates and everything like that. So really, any discount is much appreciated. We're going to have this event, honestly, March 29th, but it would be a lot better as we continue to grow it, which we are going to continue to, is if we didn't have necessarily like the fee of $1,400 where we're already bringing in our own sound equipment, everything, like having to purchase things to make this an event that's excellent across all cylinders, because we're not going to do it halfway. So we want to make sure that it's done with excellence, and with that, excellence costs money. And so we rather be able to be strategic in using our resources for that, rather than having to each time, pay close to a couple $1,000s to just be on the property for that.
Perfect.
Thank
you
And
very, very much.
And Brooks, as we look at this or in a discount, we also want our parks to be excellent, and it
Yep.
requires money to do that.
Yep.
And so that's part of what somebody hits over there, what some of those fees are. It just goes back to reinvesting, so that we're not standing out there in a muddy field. We're able to
Yeah.
plant grass. and
700
water.
kids is a lot of wear and tear, and I'm not trying to beat you down or anything, but
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be jumping on the concrete steps. I've already seen chips out there and issues with the turf around the amphitheater,
Yeah.
and so 700 kids climbing all over everything, and I visually have seen it.
Yeah.
And the amount of security it does require, that is expensive to the citizens of Moore, and so we really will have to, I want to consider it as if, if you have 100 people out there, that's not a big deal. That's why I asked that question, but.
And I think and that's why I'm just looking for the median of this, like bringing it to you guys, looking to be fair, not for just like a scapegoat of, we don't have to pay. But I think the best problem you can have is when you have 700 teenagers within your community and continue to grow. And that's a problem worth investing in, to see unity across all your Moore, Westmore, all your schools coming to that. So I'm just thinking as we've continued to grow, and I think it's a big enough, not problem, but opportunity for our city to capitalize. But I appreciate you guys' time.
Thank you.
Thank you so
guys.
much.
Thank you.
Okay. Al Jones?
Kind of thought that's why we built it.
Mayor and council, just so you know, before Mr. Jones speaks, he was here at the last meeting, and I've received information from the police department. I'm still in the process of reviewing that, and should have a report for the council later this week.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Allah Jehovah Jones. I wrote Al because I told you guys last time, but I thought you would tear it up still. And thank you, not just hearing that, let me know, hey, he's working on it. At first I was gonna come and like rant and be mad, but then it hit me, like why not just take the time to tell you guys what I think about how policing could possibly be better. And in my opinion, personally, like you guys carry all the power that they have, meaning you have the power to strip it whenever. Me personally, I don't think that they should be in charge of like things like personnel, because I don't know if any of you guys have ever served in the Army or have ever been in law enforcement or anything like that. Like, there really is a brotherhood that you'll never understand. So it's not realistic, one of us, like, going against each other. Like, that rarely is gonna ever happen. And because of that, that's why you guys exist. Like, powers like that should not be given to them. I'll give you an example. About 3 years ago, I had to protest the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office because one of their officers came to my house and disrespected a family member of mine. And then, you know, while all that was going on, the interim sheriff then comes in and becomes the deputy here. Even though, like, he basically just sent me to a guy that Chavez, he was retiring. Then he sent me to another guy that was, like, mad that I was upset with Chavez because he didn't do my situation properly, which, I mean, it sounds a little harsh, but the reality is they're brothers in arms. So how could he not be mad that somebody is, you know, ruining his buddy's day? Because that's exactly what I was doing to Chavez. He was retiring, but the interim sheriff had gave him this difficult task, like maybe 3 weeks before retiring. But enough about that. The point is, like, things like personnel should not be handled in a brotherhood society situation. That just doesn't make sense. And the reality is, you guys have the ability to stop something like that. Like, I'm not saying that those guys, how do I put it? I'm not saying that they're like ready to commit certain things, but the reality is, like, when your brother's in trouble, you just might. Like, I don't believe that that officer came there that day when we were in the hospital. I don't believe he came there to disagree with me, but his buddy had already, and how many of us are gonna do that to our brother, disagree right in his face? You're asking a lot of that man then. Something that, you know, like, things look like, it could be different. Like, if you guys did the hiring, it's different than them doing it because, like, again, it's a brotherhood that you'll just never understand. Like, I could tell you in the Army, I remember a female had gotten, you know, like, I don't like to say the word, but, like, that something bad happened to her. And it happened to her from another soldier. And it put all of us in a situation where all of us just didn't know what to do, and we couldn't go against him and we couldn't go against her, so we just all hid away. We made sure that the investigation didn't bother us, which is the wrong thing to do, but the reality is, I mean, that's what the taxpayer pays for, that sort of brotherhood. That's how you get the job done, sort of. But all I'm saying is, in their situation, I don't think that they should be investigating themselves or doing the hiring. I mean, maybe taking away those can give better opportunity for better training. I mean, I just saw this week, the officers of the area did a search and seizure training. Now, I used to be with the Army. Search and seizure is extremely active. Everybody, officers, NCOs, privates, extremely hands-on. These men were watching a teleprompt as another man talked. I just don't understand how that's proper training for search and seizure. Like, you want to see how they handle it, and so that they can get, like, on-the-spot correction. But that's just not happening. But, I mean, maybe it's not their fault because their responsibility sort of lies up here. Like, you guys, again, control all of their power. And I just think that maybe we need more, how do I put it? Maybe we need more investigation at this level on how this power is divvied out. Where, like, forget about the ride-along. Like, let's start researching the brotherhood and see where it lies, where it goes to. Like, see, like, again, like, it's just different, and I can't explain it to you. It's just something you have to experience. I mean, maybe you guys could talk to them and see the type of information you get. Like, they how do I put it? I look at the situation with me and Officer Adams and how Johnson had intercepted me for him. And I thought to myself, like, that's straight brotherhood stuff. Like, it actually had nothing to do with Johnson. And Adams was there. He could have just came to the window and said, hey, man, this is what happened, my bad. But that brotherhood situation crept, like, it's gonna always be there. Little things like that, I think that your council should give a look at into seeing how it can make the police better. But that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Item 19 is, oh wait, we skipped a couple. Any items from the city council?
I would just have one quick thing. I'm an embarrassing, Justice Chandler is here. He goes to our church. And are you a junior or a senior? He's a junior over at Southmore High School, and he's interested in local government. He told me he would be here tonight. And I said that y'all would be available to answer some of his questions about municipal government, so if some of y'all could stick around afterwards. And if you do have any questions after we're done, just hustle up here and ask them. Thanks.
Anybody else?
The only thing, I did hear the Parks and Rec threw a great party at the senior center this last week. And I think there was some response by the police department. Everybody was fine, maybe even the fire department. But,
Police calls?
yes, I think there was like a small little accident outside, however,
Oh, no.
anyway, apparently it was a success though. I heard lots of great stories about it. So, get your boogie on if, next year.
Okay. Anybody else? Any items from the city manager?
Start budget meetings with the department heads next week.
Sometime. Okay, now, item 19 is adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Would you call for the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Jason Blair?
Yes.
Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Adam Webb?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes.
Glenn Lewis?
Yes, we're adjourned. Thank you for coming tonight.